Hello, my name is Daniel Kirkpatrick with DK Percussion, and this is the beginning of a YouTube series, we hope. We have what I assume to be some 1950s American drum company or light, or Walter Light timpani, 25 and a 28. I've not actually inspected these prior to sale, so you're about to experience what you might want to look for when purchasing used timpani, of Dresden pedals anyway. But I'll walk you through my thought process, show you some measurements, and kind of give you an idea of what the plan is with these drums. I'm hoping to rebuild them. I don't think they need too much. Oh, good Lord. If it's not obvious by now, we're in a storage building. It's climate controlled, so it actually feels pretty nice in here, but I'm a sweaty mess from moving these by myself. To start, I wanted to find out if the frames are aluminum or steel. So I have just a level with a magnet on it. If it sticks to the frame, it's magnetic, meaning it's steel. Very mildly magnetic anyway. The spider is aluminum. So we know the frame is steel. And hoping as I video more of this process that I get better at the process of making content. So forgive me as we're literally in the first hour of working on these. The lip or the bearing edge of the bowl is very round. So I'm going to assume when I take the bowl out that we're going to have a flat steel suspension ring rather than a beveled edge. Let's go ahead and measure it. 25 and a half that way. 25 and we'll call it 3/4 strong that way, meaning the bowl isn't, or the suspension ring isn't round. We can fix that another time or make a new one. This one, 28 7/8. 28 7/8 is a little strong, but that's a little bit more round. Just double check. That one's in pretty good condition for shape. Okay, on the 28-inch frame, we're gonna call it 28 for now. You can see the condition of the spider. The spider mechanically looks pretty good. Looks like we're missing a barrel nut or two. I'll have to go check between here and the car, or in the car. Notice the paint didn't adhere to the aluminum too well. Aluminum can be kind of hard to paint. Steel frame, here's that magnet. So we know it's a steel frame. This is one of the early lights where they started experimenting with wheels. So my plan is to replace that post and that wheel over there, in addition to its other ones, with 4 locking casters. This little bit right here, I'm assuming is a tuning gauge part. I'm gonna replace that, make a new gauge. There's the pedal. I've not actually operated the pedal yet. It feels pretty smooth. I know everything's a little bit rusty, but I plan to clean up everything and at least get wheels and hoops situated first. Here's the fine tuner. It's missing its tightening nut. Back up a little bit here. I'm assuming that these bowls are made by Deep Picking in Bucyrus, Ohio. If not, they would have been made by the lights. I have a couple dents inside the bowl. I'll knock those out using a rubber mallet and a sandbag and maybe another video. You can see the bearing edge is not even at all. This is something we might be able to fix with either a new suspension ring Not sure you can really see that. So either a new suspension ring and re-rolling or hammering the lip, or flattening out the original. This is on the 25. There's that pedal again. Pedal moves nice and smooth. Same general condition, dirty, chipping paint. Honestly, no real missing parts. Looks like they could have had gauges at one point. So we'll add some bits and pieces for gauges. Suspension rings are held on with screws, which will prove to be handy for reworking the ring. If I decide to replace it, I may rivet instead of screw them on. They're currently set up for an American setup, so low drum on the left, kind of goofy footed or backwards right now. I may switch that around. I'm an American player, but it'd be kind of fun to have a set of German drums. Some other plans I do have include maybe doing some calf skin on these. I think calf skin would sound far better than plastic ever would on these drums, just simply because of the shape of the bearing edge, and calf skin tends to be forgiving. Inside of the bowls appears to be what is called a two-piece bowl. So they cut a circle of copper, and then they cut one long strip. You can see the seam right there. And then they dovetail all that together to make a bowl. You can see the hammer marks. You can see the dovetail. It's hard to show. Not sure if it's going to show up on camera, but it goes up, over, down. And right there would be 2 layers of copper smashed together and then brazed. The green stuff is what the brazing is. This one's a little more clear. So again, 2 pieces, one on the bottom and then the seam. Now, one of the questions I eventually plan to ask, perhaps in a poll on Facebook, should I paint these gold or the more modern red color? I have about a half gallon left from my previous light Timpani rebuild. I think that would work out well, but I like the idea of gold. I think it would look nice, it'd be different. I don't necessarily want these to match my other drums. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them when they're done. Might sell them, might keep them, we'll see. Other plans include making new head covers along with the new hoops that I'm making. Making some gauges. Again, those will attach down here. Have a rod that goes up to here, and I'll record all that process. I think this is going to be kind of fun to show people. Same thing over here. Gauge part down there, come up to there, and I'll use those letters that I make and sell, which will help fund a lot of this. Need to make some new keys. I'll probably sew some covers for these as well. Basically a whole repackaging of the instruments. I'm gonna pause the camera and then take the bowl out and show you what the bearing edge looks like. All right. So these bowls are suspended. They simply lift out. You can see it's just kind of folded over. It appears this drum was red at one point. Let me bring you in. You can see the red paint, whether that was original or not, I don't know. But this crusty felt moleskin covers up a flat, very flat bearing edge support. So really the copper, when it folds over, makes a rather round and flat surface. I like the cleaner bevel cut of the modern drums, but I think that does change the sound enough that I'm probably gonna leave this flat. Or if anything, round it over rather than bevel it. See the dust falling off. Pretty solid 25.5 across that side.
Mm-hmm.
25.5 there as well. So maybe the bowl just needs to be reshaped a little bit. Well, no, there we go. So here, about 25 and 5/16. That means going over here, probably gonna be wider. Yep, there we go. So we got a 1/4 inch plus here and about a 1/4 inch minus on the other side. Basically means this has been squished at one point. What I'll do is probably just take this hoop out with the 8 bolts and actually try to re-roll it first before replacing it. If I replace it, rather, I'm going to do this, I'm gonna need to rehammer the bowl bearing edge, the lip. Inside view of the spider. Go ahead and pack these up, get them into storage, build some shelving. Show you my storage unit. It's a little bit of a mess right now. Clean this up and get it ready for the school year, because I do a lot of educational outreach using a lot of this equipment. And get these all in there, start working on them. I think the first thing up is going to be the wheels, so I can move these around when I want to. And then just some hoops. I mean, whether they're the right size or not, just get some hoops on these and see how the frames do. Speaking of hoops, drop them in. There they are. Got some old angle hoops. I'm going to replace them with square hoops that I will roll. Once I go back and edit and watch this video, I hope to make some improvements. I'm sure moving around made some of you sick. Apologize for that. I will do better next time. Again, this is Daniel Kirkpatrick with DK Percussion. You know, I've been thinking about going with the name The Tinkering Timpanist because I already have rights to that name and I kind of like it because that is my primary job. I'm a timpanist in the Greenville Symphony. I enjoy that very much, and I hope to have these playable, we'll say by next season. I don't know, we'll see how long it takes. So Daniel signing out, hope to see you next time.